Okay. We have.
Excellent. I'll begin with roll call. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Freddie Clay-Levelos, and I am present. Ronald Lowenfield.
Present.
Catherine Lucetto will not be here. Leonardo Mena.
Present.
Walter Miller.
Here.
Perfect. Laurie Searles.
Here.
David Stout. I think Mr. Stout is not here yet. He might show up later, though. Mr. Taylor will not be joining us, and Sam Trimble.
Present.
Thank you. Very good. If you guys will join me, we could please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Should we do the Texas pledge?
Sure, we can do the Texas flag. Yeah. So, on to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Excellent. So we move on to recognitions, to employee recognitions. We have Employee of the Year, several people that have several decades of service. So let's go ahead and move to item number 1.
Board members, I would like to recognize some employees. We do not have them here right now because of social distancing, but as soon as we have our first live face-to-face meeting back in our boardroom, we will be bringing all of these members in that we've been talking about so they can meet you in person and have their photo taken with the board. But for now, we have our Employee of the Year, a young man by the name of Lorenzo Hernandez. Been with us for about 3 years. He's an excellent employee, just passed his level 3 exam, and we're really excited. He came from the outside world of surveying, so he had some experience with him when he came on, and he's been great. So we do a kind of a random drawing. Everybody that's nominated for Employee of the Month, we have an Employee of the Month, and we pick one each month, but everybody that's nominated by their supervisors or their managers gets put in a big drum, and so we choose from the drum to be fair and give everybody a chance. So we're real excited. Diana Garza has 35 years with us.
Dinah, I can't hear you.
Okay, how about right now?
Yes.
Okay, we had some static, I guess. Diana Garza is was with a data entry clerk and has progressed to be one of our main research and development staff, support staff. She's been with us 35 years. Elizabeth Duenas and Vanjie Sanchez have been with us 40 years, and I can tell you we all started together and had our kids together. So our children grew up and became friends also. So they're celebrating 40 years, and hopefully by March we'll have a meeting where we can bring them in. Thank you for allowing me to recognize them publicly. They're awesome employees and have done so much for the district, not only in the work that they do, but in their presence and in their public service and customer relations. So thank you so much for allowing me to do that. Yeah. Thanks.
Was that everything? Was that okay?
That's it. I'm
very
done.
Good. So we move on to our Board of Directors oath of office ceremony.
Yes, sir. We're not able to get a judge this year, because of what's going on. So Dina Ornelas is going to give you the oath. You were sent the oath. If you will sign those documents, have them notarized and mail them back, or you can come in and sign them and we can notarize them here at the office. So Dina's going to give you the oath. So if you'll pay attention to her.
Okay. Good afternoon, board members. If you would each take a stance, please. Raise your right hands. And you will state your name after I. And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully.
That I will
faithfully
Execute the duties.
execute the duties
Of the office as a member.
of the office as a member
Of the board of directors.
of the
of the board of directors
Of the El Paso Central Appraisal District.
of the El Paso Central Appraisal District
Of the state of Texas.
of the state of Texas,
And will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve,
protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and
of this state,
so help me God.
so help me
God.
Welcome to the El Paso Central Appraisal District Board of Directors 2021.
All right.
Yay!
Very good. Congratulations, everyone. Let's get those forms turned in as soon as possible.
Please do. We are beginning, I'll talk in my director's notes, but we are under our methods and procedures review. So that is one of the things that they do look at, is that we have your paperwork on the open meetings, open records, and that you have filled out the oath and signed it. So thank you so much, board members. We're really looking forward to a good year. For all of you, this is your last year. And as we get towards the end of the year, we'll give you information on how they can reappoint you for the next 2 years. But that'll be done in October. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have to move on to the election of board officers for 2021. The floor is now open for nominations, and I would like to begin with a nomination, if that's okay with everybody. I would like to nominate Mr. Walter Miller for chair. And if somebody were interested in keeping me as vice president, I would accept the nomination.
I'll second Walter Miller, and I'll second Freddie Avalos.
I'd like to nominate, Mr. Chair, if the floor is open for nominations.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Ed Mena as the chair and yourself as the vice chair and Walter Miller as the secretary, please. And is there a second?
Okay. There being no second, and having been a second on the first motion, we're going to take a vote on the first motion. But we need to add secretary for that. So does anybody want to nominate somebody for secretary?
Yes, I move to nominate Ed Mena.
Okay. Is there a second? I'll second that. So there's a motion on the floor to have Walter Miller as chair, Freddie Avalos as vice chair, and Eduardo Mena as secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes by majority. Congratulations, Chair, Mr. Miller.
Go, Walter.
Yay. Mr.
And
Avalos?
Freddie and Ed, everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations.
I know you made the motion. Who made the second?
Somebody had seconded it. I think it was Edward Mena.
It was you, Mr. Minute? Okay, thank you. And Mr. Avalos, Commissioner Stout has joined the meeting.
Welcome, Commissioner Stout.
Hello, Mr. Avalos. How are you doing? Sorry for hopping on late. Just getting off another meeting. I just heard you all elected Walter Miller as the chair. as the new chair. Is that right?
That's correct, sir. Me as vice chair, which just means I'll stay in the same role as I was before, and Edward Mena will be secretary.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. And Ms. Kilgore, I'd like to hand the meeting over to Chairman Miller at this point.
Can we give Commissioner Stout the oath of office?
Oh, yes, Commissioner Stout, Mr. Miller, and the rest of the board members. Commissioner Stout, we need to give you the oath of office.
Okay.
Okay, so Ms. Ornelas is going to give you the oath of office. Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Stout. I know that you have the document in your packet, but I will, you can repeat after me if you prefer. If you would take a stand, please, and raise your right hand. I, and state your name, please.
David Stout.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office as a member
the duties of the office as a member
of the Board of Directors
of the Board of Directors
of the El Paso Central Appraisal District
of the El Paso Central Appraisal District
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome as a new
Thank
member
you.
of the Board of Directors of the El Paso Central Appraisal District 2021.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Miller, as chair, do you have the agenda and all the documents, correct?
I do. I'm going to have to go back and forth. I have only one screen, but please bear with me. With that, I think I appreciate everybody's confidence in me, and we will go forward with the agenda as presented. Item number 4, or agenda item number 4, is public comment. This is our public comment period. Has anyone signed up for public comment?
No, sir. No one has signed up or in person or over the phone or through the website. We have no public comment.
Would anybody in the audience like to comment at this time?
There's no one in the audience.
Sorry.
Well, I was allowing, it says on here that we allow for phone comment, so if we
Sure.
could pause for a moment and then we'll go from there.
Okie doke.
It'll be a short moment. Okay, now we will go to I'm sorry, I got to toggle right. Item number 5, which is approval of the minutes of the October 15th, 2020 board meeting. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Mena, a second from, I'm sorry, who made the second?
Trimble.
A second from Mr. Trimble. Does anyone object to this motion?
Chairman, I'll abstain since I just got on and I wasn't at the last meeting, so just one abstention on my behalf.
Is there objection? Hearing none, this motion passes, noting the objection, the abstention of, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't talk and see who's talking. Who made the abstention?
David Stout.
Abstained.
Okay, David Stout. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm struggling here with the electronic. So that motion passes. Getting down to the agenda. Okay, agenda action 6, Discussion and possible action regarding the designation of a voting delegate and alternate for the virtual 2021 Texas Association of Appraisal Districts TAD Conference. This is an annual convention. I have been fortunate enough to attend and actually found it very beneficial, particularly for new members. Is anyone interested in going to this, or is there discussion regarding this item?
If I may, Mr. Miller, this conference this year.
Ms. Kill.
This conference this year will be virtual, so you will be able to attend the conference from the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you normally have your meetings. So it's set up a little bit different. We did put in the packet the agenda and how it's laid out. So basically, if everybody would like to attend, the registration is going to be, of course, a little bit less. But if you want to, everyone can attend. You just need to let us know so that we can register you. But we do need a delegate and a alternate delegate, because there is voting for any bylaw changes and for the officers for TAD at the delegate assembly. So that's why we do need somebody to step up to be the delegate and then the alternate delegate for voting purposes. Thank you.
Do you have any volunteers to be delegate? Since there are no volunteers, I will take this opportunity to nominate Mr. David Stout to be our delegate to this convention. Is there a second for that? Mr. Stout, can you do that?
Yes, I'll plan on being there.
I'll second.
Okay, we in the same motion. If I could, well, we have to take that. So, is there anyone that objects to this motion? Hearing none, that motion carries. We now need an alternate as a delegate. Or do we have volunteers to be the alternate delegate? Hearing none, wonder if it'd be fair to do Catherine since she's not here.
Probably not. I do know, Mr. Miller, we had her as an alternate last year, and she was looking forward to it, but then had to cancel out. So she might be interested.
Therefore, I would nominate Catherine Lucero as our alternate delegate.
I'll second.
To do that. And I have a second from Mr. Avalos. Is anyone opposed to this motion? Hearing that no opposition, this motion does carry. And we can move on to item number 7, I believe.
Mr. Miller, who seconded the Commissioner Stout's nomination?
Freddie.
Freddie? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Avalos.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going down the agenda. Item number 7. Now we have a report from staff on report on settled lawsuits from October to December.
Right.
Ms. Kilgore?
Yes, sir. Okay, board members, we sent you all the information. The spreadsheet is all the settled lawsuits, so you had time to look at them, see if you had any questions. But we also sent you a litigation arbitration report. We had talked about in the past sending you some numbers, total number of lawsuits that are out there, total number of parcels that it involves, the attorney's fees that are charged, the value loss from mediations. One of the things you're going to see different in the December report, and it won't be in every report because it's just a one-time thing for right now, is the lawsuits broken down by entity that were filed based on the exemption denial of the disaster exemption that was filed on about 5,200 parcels. that tax agents filed to get a reduction in value based on a statute in the code that allows for disaster relief, a percentage based on the physical damage done to a property. This is an economic damage, but they filed anyway. So we wanted to give you an idea if at the lowest percentage that is allowed under the code, if it goes to court and is accepted, that would be the type of value, not dollars, but property value loss that you might see in the different entities. So that was added to the December report on the lawsuits. The November report, same thing. It talks about the litigation, the mediations. It gives you your attorney's fees. And then, of course, the spreadsheet of all of the cases that were settled in mediations or deliberations. You'll see that there are quite a few of them. For residential properties, those were rentals or are rentals. And our staff had received sales information and condition information from the agent, and were able to come up with a value that we could settle on. You'll also see some that were under the mini marts. Those are the Circle Ks and some Diamond Shamrocks. Those were left over, and that was an equity, A or B. Decisions were made, and decisions were made on value issues. So these had to be adjusted to be equitable according to the Texas tax code statutes. Does any of the board members have anything in particular they would like us to discuss or to explain? Mr. Avalos.
Does that mean that we've already heard all lawsuits? Are we finished with lawsuits?
We're finished with these, yes, sir. But we're not finished with lawsuits.
Okay. When does that usually happen? Like, when do we finish that year's protests?
We don't. It goes on. It could go on. Well, the protesting is finished, but the tax code allows for late protest to be filed for 5 years. So they can file a late protest for 5 years. Lawsuits, they can add a new lawsuit every year to an existing lawsuit, and we try to get them settled, but we do have lawsuits that are probably about 4, maybe even 5 years old that they keep adding to that we're working with. Mr. Longoria is online if you would like for him to explain the court's issues right now about how it's going to be a while before these get heard. We are trying to work with bench trials and do these informal settlements so we can get a lot of this off of the plate. As you can see, we have about 863 lawsuits as of the end of December that we're dealing with. But those lawsuits count for about 2,300, almost 2,400 parcels. So
very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Avalos. Any other questions from the board? Mr. Miller? He's muted.
He's talking, but we can't hear.
I know.
Well, he's muted. I would just say, this is Trimble. I would just say, watching the evolution of this and the backup that you've provided us over the last few years, I really appreciate where we are now versus where we were then. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Trimble.
Which was, and I'm sorry, I thought it was unmuted, but anyway, to follow on what Mr. Trimble said, it was going to be my question. Was there any, just from your commentary or your experience, has the pandemic and the conditions of last year, of the 2020, made a significant difference, or do you see a significant change in the way the board operates going forward, or the CAD operates going forward?
Not right now. The pandemic did not affect the COVID, the 2020 values, but going into 2021, we are going to be working. In March, we'll come to the board and give you an update as we're getting ready to send out notices in April and give you an idea of what we're seeing, what type of properties will be going up in value, what type of properties will be going down in value.
And will you be able to relate to just normal market conditions, or would you be able to relate that to effects of the pandemic?
Normal market conditions on some and pandemic on others. Consider pandemic factors on any type of entertainment, your hotels. That will be value adjustments based on what we're seeing, loss of occupancies. Then, of course, residential, as you all know, is going very well. So that won't be adjusted based on COVID. So it's going to be a real mix this year. And as we get into finalizing our numbers, we'll be giving the board a very general overview of the different categories of properties. We can't get into specifics, but we can let you know of what we're going to be doing before the notices go out so that you can be able to understand as we get into the next protest season.
So let me understand what I think you said there was loss of revenue is going to be considered in the valuation of the property?
Well, and some of them, yes, sir. I mean, if they didn't have income coming in, then that's something we have to look at. But I can't be specific about any, type. We all know just from the news that bars have not reopened. They've had to change their makeup. We know hotel occupancies were down. But until I look at all of those numbers, we're working the ratios now. We're looking at the information that we're collecting to come up with our tables and set our values. It's too early for me to speculate on anything right now, board members, but we will be able to come back to you in March.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And
anybody else have any further?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Stott. I have a real quick question.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kilgore. Just real quickly, the $6 billion cipher there. That's the total value that those properties are worth right now, or what they would have been worth, before being contested.
Yes, sir. You'll see. Are you looking at the spreadsheet?
Yeah. I made some notes. Earlier, and I think they talked about the value of the parcels under litigation being over $6 billion. Just wondering, that's before.
Yes, that would be the certified value. You'll see we have a certified value, which is what we certify to the taxing entities, and then we will have a value. Not all lawsuits will give us their estimated value, but if they do, we'll have that. And then we'll have a settled value and a percentage difference. If it hasn't been settled yet, it's still under lawsuit, that is still value that is in dispute. But we always go by certified value and not noticed value. We will give you the notice value, but then we'll give you what was certified after the hearing process.
Okay.
And I would say that when it comes to the spreadsheet that we've worked on over the last couple of years, that it might be a good thought to, in March, plan, February next week, I guess, plan to kind of go over this again like we have in the past.
Sure.
To give everyone a firm footing as far as what all those numbers mean. Because if you haven't looked at it before or are not very, super real estate specific in your industry, then it's pretty complex. So I would say that would be nice to have happen again soon.
Right. And as always, board members, anytime you have a question, you're welcome to give me a call, and I can visit with you over the phone or in person and go over this into more detail with you. Especially with you, Commissioner Stout, because you are new, I'll be more than happy to go into detail, myself and Mr. Stone and Mr. Pettis.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, that's all I have on that. I think we're on item 8 now.
I think he's muted. Can't hear him.
Oh, he's muted again.
Mr. Miller, you're still on mute.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I think I'm having with my internet connection and it's kicking me out. So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. And we're on item number 8, Mr. Miller.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. At this juncture, I would like to turn the rest of the board meeting over to Mr. Avalos because I do not have a reliable connection. So, Mr. Avalos, can you please item number 8?
Sure. Going over item number 8, the Taxpayer Liaison Report.
Good evening, Board of Directors. I'd like to update you on what's been going on. Judge Chu appointed 15 new ARB members and reappointed 5 previous ARB members. So we are currently at 35 ARB members. And this year, Judge Chu appointed a new chairman and a new secretary. So I would like to introduce them to you. So Sylvia Gonzalez, Calderon, the new chairman of the Appraiser Review Board.
Good evening, board members.
And Philip Gonzalez, the secretary for the Appraiser Review Board.
Good evening, board members.
Thank you.
Board members, at our board meetings, Ms. Tracy Carter will always be here, and we will have the ARB chair and secretary here. So if you ever have any questions, Ms. Calderon or Mr. Gonzalez will be happy to address them with you. Okay, go ahead, Tracy. I'm sorry.
I want to let you all know that the Appraiser Review Board was in session on January 11th through the 15th to hear late protests. Everything went well. And the state comptrollers will be providing 2 days of ARB training. The training will be done by virtual session and pre-recorded virtual presentations due to the virus. And I am still waiting for the state comptroller's office to release the ARB surveys results for 2020. Hopefully I'll receive them by the end of the month. Do you all have any questions for me or for the chairman or secretary?
Just want to thank the chairman and the secretary for their ability and willingness to serve. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Very good. Thank you so much, Tracy. Moving on to item number 9, we're ready for the Chief Appraiser Report.
Board members, I'd like to start off in my report again with the Appraiser Review Board Chairman and Secretary, Ms. Calderon and Mr. Gonzalez. In visiting with them, they had a concern, as we did, on the training of the Appraisal Review Board members. The virtual training that they had last year is going to be pretty similar to what they're going to have this year. So we visited with Ms. Calderon and Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Delgado, the ARB coordinator for the appraisal district. And we have come up with 2 days of training that we are bringing in their attorney, Mr. Roy Armstrong, to do a full day's training of all of the ARB members. It will be mandatory. And we're bringing in Mr. John Trable. He is an MAI appraiser that does the state comptroller's training on appraisal practices for ARB members, Appraisal Review Board members. We have contacted the Marriott by the airport, and they have a facility that is COVID compliant, that we will be able to take the board members and spread them out so that they can have a face-to-face training with the 2 experts that do the training for the comptroller's office, but more detailed, and they can ask their questions. They can ask questions of their fellow board members. They can ask questions of their chairman and their secretary. So with a recommendation and the I won't say begging and pleading from our board officers, but they please, and I said please back. So that's going to be February 17th and 18th. I'm very excited about that. We want to give them more training. The comptroller's office has talked about more training, but because of COVID, it's kind of fallen back. And with what we saw happening last summer with very limited training on the new board members that came in then, we want to give everybody an opportunity. So we're going to bring all of the board members, the ones that have been there for a while, the ones that are in their second year, and of course the brand new ones. So I'm very excited about being able to work with our Ms. Calderon and Mr. Gonzalez to get that set up. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. We are also starting next week, all week, Monday through Friday. We will be having a mobile unit in our parking lot where property owners can come and pay their property taxes. They can pay cash, they can pay by check, by cashier's check, money order. They just cannot pay by credit card. But everything else is accepted at this mobile unit. It'll be here from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening. We will set it up. We've already visited with the Consolidated Tax Office tax collector, Maria Pasillas, and her staff as to how we're going to set it up and station everybody out, spread everybody out so that we can be COVID compliant. But give them an opportunity because the city tax office is still closed. Some of the county tax office over there at Ascarity is open, and a couple of their satellite are open to take payments also. We've also started as of January 15th. We have a drop box in our vestibule that property owners can just come in and drop their payments in, and they even gave us envelopes if they didn't bring their own that they can put in there and drop their checks if they don't want to have to wait in line. So we are working hand in hand with the Consolidated Tax Office to try to offer the public an avenue to be able to pay their taxes. We've done this. This is our 5th year. We're expecting a really big year this year because the tax office is closed. So we're ready for that, and I just want to let you know. The property value study that the state comptrollers does, the results, everything has been turned in. We have been working with their field appraisers and, of course, with the supervisors from the comptroller's office. We've not received the results yet on the property value study. We should get those by the end of January. So hopefully in February I can give you an update. In March, we can give you a lot more detailed as to how we're going to be responding to that property value study. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. On our methods and procedures study review, that is for 2021, but we've already been in contact with the field reviewer. I've already sent several documents and a lot of information to the field reviewer, so we'll be working with them. They are not going to be doing an actual field inspection. He will not be coming into our office as he normally does. But I will say this, we submitted, the comptrollers sent out a application that if you wanted to submit for an abbreviated MAPS review, we could submit for it and they would review it. We did submit the documents back in December, and we were granted an abbreviated methods and procedures review. So there's about 25, 26 questions that we will not have to respond to. And I believe those are mostly because the field reviewer cannot be here in person. The comptrollers is not letting their field reviewers travel, so we'll be working with them over that. Now, those results will not be out until the end of 2021, but we wanted to give you a heads up that we're already working with the field review on that. We're continuing with our COVID enforcement here and our guidelines. We've installed our extra ventilation that is helping out. Wanted to give you a heads up in March. Usually we go to visit in person with the different taxing entities. Some of the taxing entities, it's just our financial departments. Some of the taxing entities, it's the mayor, like in the town of Horizon or village of Vinton, we meet with the mayors. Since we're still kind of concerned about what's going on, more than likely that will be a conference call that we'll be doing, but we will be meeting with all of the taxing entities to give them an idea before the notices go out of what they can expect in their preliminary appraisal roll that goes out at the end of April, and give them a heads up of what we're doing. So other than that, unless the board has any questions for me, that kind of wraps it up.
Very good. So moving onward, we have item number 10. the executive session under the authority of Texas Government Code sections 551071 and 551074 to discuss legal matters and personnel matters.
Board members and Mr. Avalos, we have nothing under executive agenda on the agenda today.
With that said, there is no discussion for item number 11. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everyone, so much, and we'll see you next time, and congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
Who made the motion? Who moved? Oh, Mr. Lowenfield.
I seconded.
Okay, I got Mr. Mena. Thank you.
We good? Are we good?
Yeah, for the record, could you state the time?
It is 5:42 p.m.
All right.
January 21st.
All right. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, everyone.
Just want to say I'm glad that Mr. Miller doesn't run his meetings like he plays golf, very long and all over the place. That was a quick meeting. Thanks.
Walter, come back.